Good morning, everybody. What we're going to do today, excuse me, it's Monday, so we're just getting everything stirred up, right? So, what we're going to do today, though, we're going to jump into the 5 P's of effortless enrollment. Okay, so when you're looking at effortless enrollment, your goal is to help others to the information, not to make the decision for them, not to have emotional responses within the decisions that they make. Our job is just to make sure that they get the information in front of them the most efficient way possible. Okay. And before we start that, I wanted to show a quick testimony as always, so you can see that it's other people as well as yourself that are trying and getting these things done. All right. Give me 2 seconds.
I am in love with Myecon because of the financial education and the strategies that we learned. We have been able to free so many people in our community to break the strongholds of debt. And the wealth strategies that I've learned has allowed me to cash flow over $97,000 from the comfort of my home. I've been able to take 70% of my commission check and invest it. So I have built my investment retirement account to over $386,000. And the credit repair education alone has allowed me to get into the 750 club. So if you are out there and you want to figure out a way to manage your money, learn how to make more money, learn how to multiply your money, Myecon is the place to be.
Okay, guys. So you see that it was that was Angela, of course. She's Miss Williams. She's one of the amazing EVP Infinities with Myecon. And as you see, it is more than just the opportunity to actually what people say is sales or recruiting or those types of things. This is enrollment. This is your opportunity to leverage your business, to leverage your time, to leverage your money. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to increase our current lifestyle and our future lifestyle, right? So how do we do that, right? With the present job or with the present things that we're doing right now help us to multiply, add, or exponentially grow our income, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to make sure, number one, that the things that you're trying to do is effective for your end goal. But so many times we wrap ourselves around strategies. We end up bumping our heads in those types of things when there are systems in place that you can do and that you can apply if you remove the fear, the things that are thinking that you're thinking that is limiting you, right? The fear is just your false evidence appearing real. That's just you saying that the individual that you're going to reach out to will say this or will say that, right? What is it, right, about what you have that is extraordinary? Right? It is you. It is your personality. It is your end goal. This is something that's important to you, right? What is your why? And when you know your why, then there is nothing that gets in between you and the end goal. It is not the discipline necessary to create the habits. It is not continuing the habits so that you can have the character. It is not the ups and downs that you're going to go through, right? Because that's going to happen anyway. So what we want to do is every day we want to get involved in implementing a system that is going to produce something that is trackable and manageable, right? But every day we get up and we just do a few things here or there, right? Are they income producing activities? And see what we do as purpose pursuers. Okay, our goal, we have an hour within the day, somewhere around there. Okay, because we want to help ourselves to become better. So if we have that hour, we have an hour that we do 10 pages of a good book every day. Right, that can be your Think and Grow Rich. What we're looking at, that's just simple 10 pages. Imagine if you do 10 pages over a 30-day period, that's 300 pages. Majority of the books are not 300 pages. Okay, there's a lot of them that are. Okay, but what you're working on is your personal development. Okay, so majority of those books are pretty concise and to the point. So you can read a whole book in 1 month in just 10 pages a day. How do you eat an elephant? You eat elephant one bite at a time. So when you think about your goal, think about how you're going to get there, right? It's not the necessary results. It's the actions that you have to take. Those actions have to be revolved around habits that are going to be produced from the actions. And the habits got to be have to come from your end purpose, your end goal, the person that you're wanting to become. Because if you could receive everything accordingly to who you were right now, you'd already have it. But the goal is you have to sow in order to reap. You have to become, right, by finding out, how does that person think that I'm wanting to become? Find the mentor that is implementing those steps. Okay, so you would do personal development, continuing education, and then we want to get into our income producing activities. And that's what we're looking at right now, is our income producing activities. Majority of the individuals won't take a few seconds to work on themselves. They feel like they're too busy. And I can't imagine for myself, how can you be too busy to work on yourself? You're too busy to read the book. You're too busy to work on your end goal. What is that you're trying to be? Your craft, your skill, your trade. You work on that, and then you make sure you're doing income producing activities. See, these things that we teach are something that is for you to effectively become the better or the best individual that you desire to become. Okay. So let's take a look at the texting to show you that it is so simple that you can get yourself involved into something that is really helpful. Okay. And this thing here is it helps whether you are extrovert or introvert. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So let me go into our presentation. Let's see here. All right. So when you're looking at it, remember, we're going to visit this very shortly, because you can always pause this right now and then write these down. Okay. So we're going to go through these right quick and show you that there are text scripts that are available for you. The text number one, you just simply copy, paste, and then you put that into your social media. If you're on your messenger, or you put it into your text, right? And then you just simply send your number one. I'm working on something exciting. This may or may not be for you. Would you be open to taking a look? Remember, our goal, we're just decision collectors, okay? Our goal is just to simply say, hey, tell me yes, tell me no, tell me maybe so. Tell me quick, I gotta go, okay? So I know which one to put them in, because you're working on building something. You're not working on trying to get somebody to see something. You're not working on selling something. You're working on actually putting out your grand opening. You're working on putting out your why. What is it that you're purposely passionate about? Okay, passionate about. Okay, so you're working on something exciting. It may or may not be for you. Would you be open to taking a look? Okay, so you're working from that measure. You're not working from a position of weakness. You're coming from a position of strength, knowing that you have so many other people that are working with you, people that are in the business with you, that have already accomplished the things that you're trying to accomplish. Okay. So you know that you have the cookies. You have the thing that that person needs, whether they know it or not, whether they make the decision or not to come aboard and use the things that you know that are working for you. Okay, because that is your ultimate goal, just to get the presentation, just to get the information in front of them. Okay, so now you want to do what? You're waiting on the response. You do not put inside your text message the things that are in parentheses. Okay, I'm sure I don't have to say it, but just in case. So now when they respond, you have number two. How soon will you have 10 uninterrupted minutes to watch it? Okay, so now you have a process, you have a way to follow the systematic way to exposing people to your process, to your end goal, to your systematic way of helping them to be better. Okay, helping yourself to be better. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and write these down. If you have not paused this, if you're watching this now, go ahead and pause it and watch and write these things down. Write your text messaging script down. This way you don't have to do anything but simply copy, paste, send 10 people, 5 people, 2 people, one at a time, right? Throughout your day. And that's all you have to do. And then you're finished with your portion of your income producing activities for this area. So now you've generated a buzz, okay? You sent this out to, we're talking about 50 people and we're trying to do it within a week. So you send it out to your first 7, 8 people for the day, okay? Now you're waiting. Now you go ahead and start working on your continuing education. So you go ahead and you say, hey, how's my cash flow manager? How's my cash flow strategist? Am I following my personal cash flow plan? Okay, so now you're following, now you have a systematic way of getting to your end goal, right? So now you are going through your text messages. Hopefully you've paused this and have gotten your text scripts written down. Okay. Now this is the part when they say yes, when they're ready to enroll, right? When you have effectively escorted them to the system and they've seen the presentation, they've talked to another individual, an expert, and maybe walked them to more answers to their questions. Okay. So now you're able to send them this text message. Ahead and write this down as well. Okay, so this is what you're going to copy and paste to help them, to escort them all the way to signing up, okay, to enrolling into the Myecon system, right? Okay, now these are a few examples of how, matter of fact, the person that put this together was Mr. Nick Woodard, our own EVP Platinum, right, with Myecon. He put this together, and this is something that you can see that we are effectively texting back and forth, just simply helping others to get to the system to see the presentation. Okay, what they say after that, that's not up to you. That's up to where they are at the present moment. They may be too busy, quote unquote. They may be really too busy. And then the case may be where they may have too much on their minds at the time, okay, to actually effectively hear what is being said. So it's those different things like that, okay? So what we want to do is we want to get you effectively, because last time what we talked about is prospecting, and that prospecting is effectively listening. That's listening for a purpose. You're listening for the individual to say, hey, there's an issue with time. There's an issue with money. Okay, whatever that issue may be, that's what you're listening for. Then once you hear that, then you want to use purposeful words. That's why we use script messaging, because it's already crafted to help you to do the process. It takes the pressure off of you. It doesn't have to worry about expressing anything other than what's already written. So when you learn also how to use scripts to help the individuals go from station to station, if you would, the prospecting, we're listening for the problem. Once we heard the problem, whatever that problem was, we use power words. What are the power words? One of them is this: hey, I am just curious. Okay, if you are taking notes, simply write that down, right? So write those simple words down. I am just curious. Okay, so when you say that, that opens a door for them to listen, to also generate curiosity from toward you, right? What are you curious about, right? I'm talking about my issues. What are you curious about? I'm just curious. I heard you say X, Y, and Z, whatever those issues were, right? I heard you say X, Y, and Z, right? If I could pass you on to a website that has helped me, would you? If I could, would you? If I could pass you on to a website that has helped me and to show me how to effectively overcome what you had, what you're saying that you had challenges on, because that's also something that I had a challenge on. Okay. Or you can also have that's also that an associate of mine had a challenge on. Okay. So now you're saying, I'm just curious. Then you restate the issue. I just heard you say, and then you say, if I could, would you? If I could pass you on to a website, would you take a few minutes to listen to it? Because it has helped me to overcome the issue that you had just said as well. Or it is helping me to overcome the situation that you just stated as well. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to get them to the expert, okay? And what we are passing them on to, remember, our 5 Ps are prospecting. That's when we were listening. Then we pique their interest. If I could, I'm just curious. Then we pass them on to the presentation, okay? And the presentation is what we're going to get them to, okay? That is just what we want to get the information in front of them, right? It's just like, hey, I heard that this movie was awesome, so you should go out and check it out also. I heard that this restaurant's food was great, you should check it out also. If I could give you the information, would you go and check it out? Right? Because I'm telling you, it was awesome, right? So now you're using the words to convey the most efficient way possible the information that you're trying to get them in front of, okay? So what we want to do is we always want to keep it off of ourselves. We want to keep it off of first party. We want to get it to what we call the third party information. And how do we use third party information? Excuse me, guys. Let's get a little. So what we want to do is when we're using third-party information, how do we use it? How do we get those people to that, right? We always edify whatever that was. Remember what we said was, hey, if I could, would you? If I could pass you on to the website, would you take a few minutes? Because what? We edified it. It helps me. It has helped so many other people of my associates that I know of, okay? So when you get this to the point that you are just using it to help them get to the information, then you'll want to collect the decision from the information. No emotion involved. It's just the job. It's just the activities that you're doing. Just like when you clock into work, you put 8 hours effectively into whatever it is that they said that you needed to do. You don't question it. You don't question how repetitive it is. Matter of fact, if you're the type of individual that is trying to gain or trying to get to a promotion, you're going home and you're practicing whatever it is that they need you to do on your job, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to increase your pay. So what you want to do is you want to do that for your business. You want to do the things that's going to help others more. You want to help them to more effectively get to the presentation. And that presentation could be, write this down, www.incomeshifting.com. That was www.incomeshifting.com. One of them can be www.purposepursuer.com. Okay, but for effectiveness, let's just say incomeshifting.com. Let's just use that one right now. Let's just keep it at one. Okay. But you can also use the picture that we have for purpose, right? And if you don't know what that is, talk to your EVP, or matter of fact, drop a message here, and I'll make sure that you get the picture for purpose questionnaire. Okay, you can pass that on to an individual as well. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to effectively get that. So you are going to learn also what to be as an expert, but you're going to have an individual if you're brand new, and if you're not brand new, you always want to keep it off of yourself. You want to work with an accountability partner. You want to work with your upline EVP. You want to work with somebody that is working within the system that you can pass that information, pass the person on to the information. That way you keep it off of yourself, okay? You want to pass it on to the expert, okay? Your first goal then is to break the ice, okay? Now, and you also want to project your thoughts. So what we want to do is when you are breaking the ice, your goal is to say, hey, I've just heard about, or have you ever heard of, right? 369 Financial Transformation. I'm working on something exciting and new. It may not be for you, but have you ever heard of the 369 Financial Transformation? Have you ever heard of income shifting? I just found out that I could get my money back from the government by simply adjusting my W-4. And I'm using that money to reduce my debt, reduce my expenses. Have you ever heard of the 369 Financial Transformation? So as you get involved into the system and the system gets into you, then you can actually use the testimonies of others, your testimony, what you're working on, to break the ice with have you ever heard of, okay? So that's you projecting thought, okay? So now, as you're doing that, you're also the strategy. That's your testimony we were talking about. That's what you're working on. You're going to pick a strategy and elaborate, right? We have what strategies? Cash flow management, business income, and investment income. Those are the three strategies that you're working in right now to get yourself to the best place for you to live your best life. You're either working on your cash flow manager, your cash flow strategist, your personal cash flow plan, which is in your cash flow managing. You're increasing your cash flow. Okay. When you're increasing your cash flow, your job then is to effectively show others how that's working for you. Okay. So now our goal then is to pick a call to action. And when you pick that call to action, your goal now is to provide alternatives of choices. Okay. And your call to action, we call that a CTA a lot of times, right? That call to action is just simply saying, hey, if I could, would you? Okay. If I could pass you along a website, if I could pass you along a purpose questionnaire, whatever that is that you're working for with that individual. If I could, introduce you to an individual that's helping us through the problems that you just stated. Okay. So those are several choices that you have to work with. You can pass them on to a presentation. You can pass them on like something like the incomeshifting.com. You can pass them on to a testimony or another's testimony that you know of. You can pass them on to an expert. Let the expert do their thing. Okay. And our goal is always, always, if you are the expert, okay? And now I'm switching gears. Before I was talking to you when you were the individual that is looking for the expert, okay, that is doing the edifying of the expert. Now we're coming from the opportunity to know how to be the expert. So you also, no matter if you're the first day, second day, third month, always move this on to the next individual. Let the next person be the third party, okay? So that's what's going to help you the most. It's going to help that individual do the explaining. That individual will help you because what is happening when you're talking to most people, the people that you know of, they have credibility with you, but they don't have the trust that you know about the thing that they're having issues with, the thing that they're having issues with the time or money. So then you give the edification and the credibility over to the person, over to the incomeshifting.com by giving them the edification. Okay. Now we're going on to show you how you can be the expert. So now when you have the individual that you're working with and they are exposing their business to others, their people that they know of. Okay. So now you are the expert that they're going to refer to. Okay. So now our goal is when you pick up the phone, okay, you're gonna say, hey, okay, you are the expert, right? And then let's make sure we have everything lined up properly so you'll know where we're coming from, okay? So you're the expert. I'm training you how to be the expert, okay? So this is what's going to transpire. This is what's going to happen on the call, okay? You're going to have an individual that you're working with that's on your team, that's on, the Myecon Team Purpose Pursuers, okay? What you want to do is your goal is to have that individual to be able to send them to you. So they're going to let you know, hey, I'm working. How is your times between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock? Okay, I'm going to make a few calls. I'm going to make some calls between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. How are you doing with that time, right? So that person's working with others. They're asking you as the expert, when are you available? Okay, so you will be there when they have somebody ready to speak to. Okay, or they could already have an appointment of somebody that they've already exposed. So now they're setting an appointment and let you know, when do you have time? Okay. Now they're calling you, the person calls, okay? This is our associate. Okay, you're the expert, the associate is calling. The associate has the individual on the phone already. Okay, so everybody can take their training from this, whether you're the expert, whether you're the associate, or whether you're the expert or the associate. Okay, so now the associate has the prospect on the phone. The prospect has already seen one of the presentations. They've already seen the incomeshifting.com, or they've already seen the purpose questionnaire. Okay, they've already been exposed some form of fashion before you get them to talking to the expert. Okay, so now the associate calls the expert. Hey, Mr. Holmes, I have Johnny on the line. And see, when you call the expert, you're going to refer to the expert as Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, okay, or Mr. or Miss, okay? And then you refer to the prospect by their their first name. Okay, that transfers credibility and the expertise. Okay, so hey, Mr. Holmes, I have Johnny on the line right now. Johnny just saw the video, and what he liked most about the video was this. Okay, you showing them, you telling them what they're seeing. Now you're going to tell them what they liked. Okay, that prepares the individual. Okay, so now you're going to put them on. The three-way call is now connected. Okay, and as the expert, your goal then is to speak first automatically. So the associate says, "Mr. Holmes, here's Johnny. Hey, Johnny." You don't wait for any other accolades of the associate trying to tell the person about how good you are, or this, that, and the other, because sometimes that can get out of the way. So you just want to go ahead in with the electricity, where you want to go ahead in and start the conversation with the expectation. You always speak first. Hey, I heard you are the type of person who is hungry and looking. Hungry and looking, or are you both? Okay. So now you have effectively started the conversation. I heard you are the type of person who is hungry and looking, or are you both? Okay. So now that leads the conversation to exactly where you want that to go. Okay. You can also use this one. I heard you are the type of person who hates missing out on opportunities. Is that true? And you be quiet. Okay. Also, I heard you're the type of person who may not be looking for an opportunity, but recognizes one if you see it. Okay. So now you're able to look and set the tone, and you're able to give them an expectation that they are, you're also giving them the edification as well. You're edifying the person, right? The prospect. You're edifying the prospect. Okay, so your goal is also to edify the prospect by saying, hey, I hear you hate missing out on opportunities. You may not be looking for one, but you recognize it if you can see it. I hear that you're hungry and looking, or are you both? Okay, so you're edifying them. Okay, you're passing that on, and then you're going to go back into the person, the associate. You're working with a great person here. Johnny is awesome, and I know that anybody that is working with Johnny, you have to be a person of high caliber as well. Okay, so now you've also edified them. You edified the associate too. Okay, so now we move on from there. Now, which of the following three strategies jumped out at you the most once you heard about it? Cash flow management, business income, or investment income? See, you can have this particular piece right here in front of you. You can have this in front of you, being the expert. Somebody is getting ready to say, hey, I'm getting ready to call you. How's your time at 6 o'clock? I'm open at 6 o'clock. So the associate calls you at 6 o'clock. You just pull out this right here and then pick one of these, and then go ahead and put you've practiced it before, but you have it in front of you so that you have it something to go by, so that you can interject your personality into it, but you use the scripts at the same time. Because when you use the scripts, you as an expert are practicing it. The associate sees you and they are practicing it. The prospect sees the process and it helps them to practice it also. And when they are enrolled, now they see how it worked because it worked for them. Okay. So your goal is now you ask the question, which of the following three strategies jumped out at you the most once you heard about it? Cash flow management, business income, or investment income? And then you're quiet and you're listening. Okay. And once you do that, they're going to say whatever that is. Or they may say, I liked all three. Okay. So your goal is then you're going to say, perfect. This coming day or day, we will be diving into that topic in a more particular style. You see what I'm saying? So everything is laid out for you. So what you want to do is you want to escort. Remember, there is no selling involved. This is simply helping them to get the information the best way possible. And see, we don't try to sell them unless they say, hey, I've heard enough. I'm ready to enroll right now. Okay, if that's not the thing that comes out of their mouth, then our goal is to get them onto the next base. Okay, the next steps: prospecting, picking paths, presenting, plug. Okay, plug and then promote. Right. So we want to get that. So perfect. This coming Tuesday or Thursday, we will be diving into the cash flow management and more about that particular subject, whatever that subject was, right? We're going to talk about more about cash flow management or about business income, right? So perfect. This coming Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be diving into cash flow management and more about that particular cash flow management strategy. Okay, so now you have that there. And so now you know what to expect as the associate, how to pass it along. You know what to do as an expert, how to help them onto the situation. Okay, so now when you put all these together, let's get out of here. Okay, now, so when you put all these together, you can see how simple and effective it is to help you to go through your steps. Majority of the times, we go through life as a wandering generality, meaning that we allow life to happen to us as it deems. Okay, because life does come at you fast. But the thing is, if you are prepared, because you use a systematic way of approaching life, then you are able to go through the ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life. Okay, nothing can stray you from going towards your goal. Right? Just think of it. You're in a car, and when you're in that car, your goal is to do what? Okay, your goal is to get to that end destination. And when you're going to that end destination, it doesn't matter. Just think about what is in between you and that goal, right? So your end goal is Atlanta, okay? And you're starting from Charlotte, right? And so you have, through that end goal, you have traffic, okay? You have detours, you have lefts, you have rights. But you know at the end of the day, because you have a system that you're following, it's dictating to you that you're going to take another left up here. You're going to take another right up here. You're going to exit at this time because you're following a system. Before, it used to be the map. Okay, we fold out, the big map that we used to unfold, but now it's your GPS. Okay, so where is it that you have a financial GPS? Okay, are you solely dependent upon um, the economy? Meaning, are you solely dependent upon who's elected? Are you solely dependent upon your job and the raise that is given? Okay. Or what is it that you're dependent upon? I'm dependent upon strategies, systems, and solutions. Okay. So that way, when life goes up, down, you see, when things happen with COVID, there are things I've been through, the ups and downs of the markets and those types of things. And see, when you say that you're wanting a certain goal, then accordingly is the opposition that comes. Okay, so when you're saying that you want to increase, let's say for instance, you want to increase muscle mass. Okay, so what you're doing is lifting weights. You have to lift weights that will cause you to break the muscle so that that muscle can grow. Okay, so but when we say this about life, we think of it as something to blame. So when life comes at us, we think that, hey, it happened and I must blame this. I must blame the person, the place, or the thing. Okay. Instead of saying that this came because I made a decision to be better. And when I made that decision to be better, then I have to expect the opposition in the amount of the purpose that I'm going to be. Okay. So just like when you're doing a building, and you're building a skyscraper, and then let's say when you're building a house, when you're building a house, the foundation is not as deep. But when you're building a skyscraper, the foundation has to be very deep because you're going higher. Okay, so the thing happens when you decide that you're going to be something. Okay, then there's an opposition that has to happen. It doesn't matter where you are, you have to have opposition. When you're driving, right, you have to have the road ahead of you. Okay, so in order for you to get there, you have to have the banging, the ins and outs of the pistons, the engine, the moving, the clanging. Okay, that creates combustion, and that combustion gets you to the end goal. Okay, And when that combustion gets you to that end goal, right, it pushes you. And see, that's what you have in your life. You have combustion, you have contrast. But until you sit down and say, hey, what is it that I'm doing? And then say, what is it that I'm putting into me in order to get to my end goal? Am I just simply saying that, hey, I'm going to have a job, and even if you've had it for 10, 15 years, okay, do you put all your dependency? Do you depend solely upon that job? If you retire right now, do you depend solely upon the income that is coming in from your pension, Social Security? I'm pretty sure that is not to where you want to live the lifestyle that you want to live. Okay, so I teach the strategies, the systems. We teach the systems and strategies because it is something to where you can plug in, and it doesn't matter about your charisma. It doesn't matter about how connected you are. It only matters that you are actively applying the system. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to worry about the results. You don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is make sure that you're doing your personal development. Are you doing your continuing education? Are you doing income producing activities? When does it come to where we have been so relaxed that we think something is going to be given to us? When has that ever happened? Okay. And when has it happened that we've worked hard and became wealthy? When working hard has produced the consistency that produced wealth, but it's many people that are working 10, 12 hours a day, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and they're still going check to check. They got two jobs, okay, and they have a degree, and they still are doing check to check. It's something that's missing. It's a systematic way of approaching our life. It's a systematic way of saying, hey, if I want to gain or lose weight, then there's something I have to do systematically, repeatedly, consistently, okay, to in order to produce that. If it's something that I want to do financially, then I have to recognize where I am and then what to do in the middle. Okay. So I can't just look at the mother, the father, okay, the grandfather, the great granddad, okay, the great grandmom. What you have to look at is what works. Okay. And even when you're applying what works, right? Even it said, hey, even in the hands of the potter, the clay was marred. Okay, the clay was made ugly. Okay, it had problems. Okay, it wasn't looking right. So even when you first start, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like success. It looks like overalls and work boots. Okay, and so when you're going through those steps and processes, understand that it has to first get to a point to where it looks ugly in order for you to go differently. Okay, it has to get to a point to where it is it is coming to a point that it's going to shape you. Okay, remember it says that in the text it says that in order for something to grow it first must be pruned. Okay, you can't grow effectively thinking that you as you are today are going to effectively receive the things that you're desiring. It can't happen that way. Okay. It's just like looking at the soil outside. Okay. And it reminds me of the story, right? The story is like this old man has a wonderful garden, wonderful, beautiful garden. Okay. And another gentleman walks up, younger guy walks up to the garden and he says, hey, this garden is awesome. You know, is wonderful, it's beautiful, you know. God really blessed you. God has really done some things, you know, with this field. And the old guy said, hey, you're definitely right about that. But You should have seen it before I got here. Okay. So it takes a combination of you sowing into your field. And first and foremost, you got to make the field good for to be sown in. Okay. So in order for that seed to be planted, the soil has to be turned over. It has to be turned over. It has to be tilled. Okay. So when that happens, it is not pleasant, right? Because you're mixing, you're disturbing the soil. What you're doing is you're activating that may be there. Okay. But you don't know what's in the soil until you place the seed there. And when you place the seed there, now you have to cover, right? So now that's dirt covering the seed. So now it's darkness. It's ugly. You can't see. But at the same time, you're starting to grow, what we call germinate. Okay. That was placed in you. The forest is in the seed, right? So the forest start to move underneath the dirt. So now what happens is the germination goes. So what are you planting within you? What is it that you're doing? How can you effectively expect what you have not effectively put in? Okay. So the system we teach is not for us to produce, for you to produce more income for us. It's for you to do better and whatever you want to do with your life. Okay. So systematically, this is what you do. You have a coach for this. You have a coach for that. You have a membership for this. You have a membership for that. Okay. What's your financial membership? Now you have an income shifting membership. What are you going to do with it? Okay. So that's what we want to do. We want to always keep it super simple, right? Effectively, because most people won't take the time, pause the message, write down the text, go forward, pause, write down. What they would rather do is everybody's looking for a leader. Who's going to step up and lead? Okay. Everybody's looking for somebody to show them how to do that. Everybody's moving from here to there to there to there to show them how to do that from the outside in. Nobody is saying, hey, let me look inside, cultivate that's within me first, then find the passion that's within me. What is that I really desire to do? What is it what have I been placed here to do? What is my purpose? And then effectively live out the life from there by using systems, strategies, and solutions to do so. Okay. So now you can dive in and you can say, hey, there are times that I'm going to learn. There's times that I'm going to effectively work on my craft. There's times that I'm going to effectively do activities to promote my craft. Okay. There's times when I'm going to laugh, fun, right? All these things. But my schedule is divided into those times that are producive, there's something that can produce for me. My time does for me. What is your schedule? Does people pull you out of your schedule? Is your job your priority? There's nothing wrong with the job. Listen to what I'm saying. But what we're saying is our priorities are family. We say that all the time. Our priorities are friends. Our priorities is love, is life. I'm not concerned with money. It's not, what I'm saying, it's not all about money, right? We say these things, but at the end of the day, it's the job, that we're looking to provide. And see, when you learn strategies and solutions, and you learn how to implement the systems, then you can be system reliant, and the system will produce for you 30, 60, and 100-fold. The soil will produce because you've put the nutrients in. What are the nutrients for the soil? That's the books you're reading. That's listening to the trainings right now. That's going to the Myecon and watching Mr. Curry. That's going to FBA and watching Mr. Hill. Okay, that's going into the purposepursuer.com and learning how, more about your real estate. If you're in that context, if you're in the area of investments, okay, or are you business income, or are you cash flow management? Where are you? Personal credit, business credit, leveraging your credit. Don't let the things of life take you out of the systematic ways that you need to do. Don't find out, get active in your things, right? Get active in what you have, right? If it's not if you're in a good place and you feel like that's okay, then what is it that you need to reach out for your family, right? Does your son know? Does your daughter know? Right? Does your wife? Does your husband know? Okay, what is it that you need to do to help the children in your community? Do they effectively know how to balance their checkbooks? Do they understand cash flow management? Do they understand business income and investment income? I have so many people that are trying to do business and have not an idea about doing business. So many people are saying, hey, Mike, show me how to get my LLC together because I got this concept. And then I know that 9 times out of 10 businesses fail, right? I know this. So I'm saying, hey, I hear you what you got going on. It's an awesome idea. Cultivate it, creativity, understand that. But then I say there's discipline. Then I say, hey, there's ups and downs. Okay. Then I say, hey, just because it's we got to get to a place to where we understand what our true priorities are. If our true priorities are family and current and future lifestyle betterment, then how do you get there? What has produced so far for individuals that have been working the 40-40-40 plan? 40 years, 40 hours a day, okay? And then retire on 40% of what they retired on. Okay. How many people, look at the statistics, right? How many people can retire and live on what they have and have an effective life? Or are we going to continue having the blinders on and saying that somehow it's going to work for me? Somehow it's going to, just think about it. You want a cake. You have the sugar, you have the flour, you have the eggs, you have the milk, you have all the things necessary. Okay. Will that cake come to fruition? Can you just sit back and say, I got all the ingredients, and then say, I hope that the cake is made? Or do you have to mix it? And then you have to put heat upon it, cook it, a little heat, and then is it made? Okay. So you look at your life in that manner. And so when you're getting your priorities in line, it is not that I'm saying take away, the time from your job. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, when that job says, I want to move to overseas, or when the job says that, hey, you're not essential, or when the job says whatever that they choose to say, okay, what is your dependency? Okay, just because it's been there forever doesn't mean that it's going to be there forever. Also, it's more than you involved. Okay, if you don't teach these strategies and solutions to your people, then you're going to let them repeat the past. And so that's my goal today. My goal is to make sure that you get stirred up enough, and I try to move away from motivation and all those type of things, because motivation is going to get you stirred up to do something. And then when the discipline comes, you're going to move somewhere else, and you're going to be motivated over there for a little while. And then you're going to move somewhere else. You're going to be seriously motivated over there for a little while. Then you're going to move somewhere else. Okay. So what I want to do is make sure that you have the things necessary, the steps, the struggle, the steps to get over the struggle, rather. Okay. So guys, you tune in, and always, as always, I keep dropping this doggone mouse, but be that purpose pursuer. What is your purpose? What is your why? And then what are you willing to do about it? Okay. So if you're saying that your family is the most, is your preeminent, then do you have your emergency fund in place? Are you working toward personal credit, business credit, and leveraging your credit? Do you understand, the budgeting? Does every dollar have a name, right? Where are you headed? Okay. There's a imbalance that has to be for a certain period of time. We want to say, hey, I want to balance my whole life. I want, job here, 8-10 hours over here. Then I got to, put in time for this, and time for leisure, and time for TV. And I also got my kids, and, all those types of things. Something has to go. Got to get there. Got to get there. You guys have a beautiful day. I want to always leave you with that. Okay, to say, hey, it's the sober mindedness that's going to take you through. It's not the motivation. Inspiration is great, but inspiration comes to activate that's what's already within you. Okay, so you first have to, once you, even if you get motivated or inspired, now you have to, that's like saying, hey, you had a dead battery, okay, and then somebody comes, Les Brown, myself, Terrence, whoever, right, whoever you're listening to, right, to come and jump your battery. Oh man, that's good. I'm gonna apply that. Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna run, 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 run. And then when you leave, you don't have the power to keep that battery going. Okay, you don't do anything. You don't put in the personal development. You don't work on your craft. You don't plug into your Wednesdays and Thursdays calls to get more. You don't plug in so that you can give more. Right. So those things are there for you to help you to become the best you can be. Because, well, just think about it, a lot of us, we go and say, hey, I want to go into the services, church services, right? And I'm most definitely a proponent of that, because you got to go and get your generated again. So we go to services, to get plugged into the source. Okay, so that we can go through some more, right? Then you don't wait till another Sunday, right? But you plug in that night, you read, right? You get more in, maybe you worship, whatever that is, but you continually deposit, deposit, deposit. So now, what do you think about business and finances? We want it to happen, but without the same inputs. So you have to do the same thing. You have to plug into the source, right? You can't, it's not just, I know that they said that last time. You don't do that on your job, right? They don't let you come in the first day, learn everything you need to learn, and say, hey, okay, you got it. Well, we're going to pay you continually for the rest of your life. Okay, no, you got to come in every day. You got to go to work every day. You got to do the same thing over and over and over every day, no matter what it is. No, that is your job. Okay. So you got to plug in and do the same thing about your position. You got to get excited about your priorities. If it is your life that you want to expand, then you got to get to a point to where you're saying that, hey, I'm going to add, multiply, or exponentially grow my income. Add cash flow management, multiply business income. All right, you're going to exponentially grow, leverage your income. Okay, make sure all your bases are covered. Do you sit down at night and say, have a projection and say, hey, 2040, I'll be here? How can I know that, Michael? Because you have a cash flow strategist. You can plug your numbers in. You should know your financial freedom date. You can plug your numbers in and find what that is. Okay, so guys, get in there, and then do the best you can do. And that's all it's going to ever take. Be the best you can be every moment of the day. Just simply do the next best thing possible, and you will always be there. Guys, I see you on the other side of your purpose, because this side is too easy. Peace.